You ever feel like you're hearing about some new kind of AI every single day? You're definitely not alone. The buzz is just everywhere. But what do all these different terms actually mean? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut right through the noise and decode the different types of AI, from the really simple stuff to the machines that seem, well, almost creative.
So let's get right to it. You hear these terms thrown around all the time. Rule-based, machine learning, generative AI. They sound super complex, right? But are they just different buzzwords for the same thing, or is there a real fundamental difference between them? That is the core question we're going to unpack.
The best way to get a handle on all this is to think of it as a journey, an evolution. We're going to start with the simplest form of AI, one that literally just follows rules. Then we'll see how AI took a huge leap and learned how to learn from data. And finally, we'll get to the latest craze, AI that can actually create brand new content. It's a logical path that tells a really fascinating story.
All right, let's start at the very beginning. We're talking about the foundation of all AI, the simple, straightforward rule follower. A rule-based system is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It runs on a simple set of if this, then that instructions that a human programmer has to write out by hand. Think about a basic thermostat in your house. If the temperature drops below 70 degrees, then turn on the heat. That's it. There's no thinking, there's no learning, it's just executing a direct command.
And that really gets to its core nature. A rule-based system can only do what it's been told. It can't learn from experience, like it won't figure out you like it a bit cooler in the mornings. It can't adapt to a new situation, like a window being left open. Its actions are 100% predictable because every bit of its logic was hard-coded by a person. But what if an AI could actually learn on its own? That's the next massive leap in our story, and it brings us to something way more powerful. Think of it as the AI becoming a student. This slide just lays it out so clearly. On one side, you have rule-based systems. They're static, they're predictable, because their logic is all human-coded. But then you look at machine learning, and it's adaptive. It finds its own logic by looking for patterns in data, which means its results aren't always certain. It can actually surprise you.
So, what exactly is machine learning? Well, instead of being given explicit rules, these systems are fed just enormous amounts of data. Pictures, text, numbers, you name it. And they teach themselves to recognize patterns and all that stuff. It's not about following a recipe. It's more like tasting thousands of different cakes to figure out for itself what makes a good one.
So how does it pull this off? The system literally fine-tunes itself. As it chews through more and more examples, it's constantly adjusting its own internal settings, its parameters, getting better and better at spotting those important patterns. This is exactly how your spam filter learns to spot junk mail, or how a streaming service figures out what movie you might want to watch next.
Okay, and that brings us to the new wave. This is the type of AI that is just all over the headlines right now, the one that seems to create things out of nothing. But as we're about to see, it's much better to think of this AI not as a creator, but as a master imitator.
This is generative AI, and whether it's writing an email, making a picture, or even composing music, its basic job is always the same. It predicts the most likely next piece of the puzzle. If you give it the words, "the sky is," it predicts the next word is probably blue. It just does this on a scale that is absolutely mind-boggling. But the core idea is prediction, not actual understanding. Now, this quote here is probably the single most important thing to get about generative AI. It is not creating new ideas. It's not injecting its work with any real meaning. It is an unbelievably sophisticated mimic, analyzing huge patterns in the data it was trained on and then just imitating those patterns to make something that looks new.
So just remember this crucial point. When you're interacting with a generative AI, you're talking to a world-class pattern matching machine. You are not talking to a thinking, conscious being. It's an incredible tool for imitation, building new things based only on what it's already seen.
Okay, so we've covered the rule follower, the student, and the master imitator. But now, it's time for a quick reality check, because all of these types of AI, no matter how advanced they seem, all share one common identity. They are all specialists.
Yep, you are seeing that right. 100%. Every single AI system you have ever used or even heard of, from your phone's voice assistant to the most powerful image generator out there, every last one of them falls under this one category. And that category is narrow AI. All this means is that the AI is designed to do one specific task or a set of really similar tasks inside of very strict boundaries.
It basically lives and operates in its own little world.
So what does this mean in the real world? It means an AI that's a genius at playing chess has absolutely no idea how to give you driving directions. An AI that can write beautiful poetry can't diagnose a sick patient. Unlike a person, it can't take knowledge from one part of its life and apply it to a totally different problem. It's a master of one trade and one trade only.
And this is the single most important thing to take away from all this. Whether it's a simple little rule-based system or a mind-blowing generative model, every single AI we have in the world today is a highly specialized tool. We do not yet have an AI that can think and reason and solve problems generally, the way a person can.
And that brings us to our final thought. We've seen how insanely fast AI has evolved from just following simple rules to creating brand new, complex content. But if all of this incredible power is still considered narrow, it leaves us with one massive, fascinating question to think about. What on earth happens when it's not?